Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for tuning in, guys. We hope you've been doing very well. We've been uploading some interesting short videos on cultural celebrations, Australia Day, beach vibes, and much more. We really hope you're finding this content interesting and engaging. Today, we have a very intriguing case of a Gen Z who has done schooling in India and migrated to Australia. Now, get ready to uncover the differences, cultural shock, challenges faced down under by an NRI Gen Z. Before you go ahead, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Yes, we need more love. So buckle up for now and enjoy this video. We really hope you'll find it interesting and take a thing or two away after this video. Hi guys, welcome to NRI Talk Special, and we have a very special guest today as promised, Gen Z Jeevika. How are you?
G'day, how's it going?
Okay, so that's how you greet each other.
Yep.
G'day, Francois. How's it going, mate?
That's exactly how you greet
Alright,
each other.
so good day guys, how's it going? So Jeevika, what do your friends call you here?
They call me JB.
JB?
My full name, Jeevika Bhagapalli, too complicated for most people.
I know they have a habit of cutting short everything, right?
Yes,
Over
that's
here in
so
Australia.
true. Yeah.
Michelle, Michi, Jeevika, I thought they'll call you Jeevi.
Oh no, that's safe for family and loved ones.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. So when did you move here, Jeevika?
I moved here in 2017.
2017.
Yeah.
How old were you when you
I was 12 years old when I moved.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So you've done your schooling in India?
Yes, I've done up to year 6 in India,
Okay.
in very well-known Delhi public school.
Oh, yeah.
And then I moved here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they call it 6th standard, 7th standard, like that,
Uh,
over there in India?
In India, I think, yes,
Yeah.
6th standard is the
Okay,
way they
cool.
go.
So when you first moved here, what did you feel like? Like, did you like it, or were you shocked, or?
Honestly, when I first got here, the
Yeah?
first thing I thought was, damn, this place is clean.
Okay.
Everything was so organized. The traffic was, in lines. Never seen that before in my life.
Okay.
Before Australia, I'd never traveled internationally.
Okay. All right.
So it was a massive culture shock. First thing we did to Australia is we went to Coles, the supermarket.
Okay.
And I was surprised with the amount of baked goods. Never seen anything more than bread before. So
Yeah.
I loved it there. I loved
Okay.
it. I love here.
So what's your favorite Aussie food?
Favorite Aussie food? Oh, I'd have to go for fairy bread and lamingtons.
Fairy bread and lamingtons. Maybe we'll have to give links in our description to our viewers to explain more about these.
Well, fairy bread is very easy. It's white bread, bit of butter,
Okay.
and some sprinkles on top.
Okay.
And lamington is a sponge cake covered in chocolate and coconut.
Okay. Well, I think when I was a child, we used to use stuff like this as props, as decorative items, but yeah, that's fine. All right. So, when you got into school here, what was it like? What's the process of getting admission into school? And the reason I ask you this is nowadays back in India, it's a massive deal to get admission into a school. They have an interview, and then you have to score certain marks, and based on that, the school will accept your admission.
Yes.
And you've got to dig deeper into your pocket to get into a good school.
Oh, definitely. Well, I went to public school in Australia. I didn't go to private school. The biggest thing is when you move here from a non-English speaking country, they
Yeah.
get you to do an English test.
Okay.
It's a very basic test. It only has 5 marks in it because it consists of 5 components.
Okay.
And if you pass all the components, then you are good to get into any non-selective public school in
Okay.
New South Wales. For selective schools, it gets a little bit more complicated where you have to do the selective test, of course.
Okay.
Which most kids here would do in year 6.
What's selective and non-selective for the benefit of our viewers?
So selective schools are kind of schools that only take in the alumni, or like the smarter kids out of
Okay.
primary school. So most primary school kids would do a test in about year 5, year 6 to get into selective schools. They'll apply for it, and if their marks are good enough, the school will accept them. Everybody else goes to non-selective school, which
Okay.
just takes in everybody.
You also mentioned about public school and private schools
Yeah.
here. So how good are they, and what do most parents prefer?
I think most parents that I know of prefer sending their children to public schools.
Okay.
Because if you can consider DPS, which is the private school of India to my school, my public school in Sydney, there's not much of a difference.
Okay.
Like infrastructure-wise and the things that they have at the school, there really is not much of a difference. Like a private school in Australia is just as good, but it's fancier and a lot more expensive. And honestly, most people don't think it's worth the money.
Okay. Was there culturally, how did you adjust when you moved here? Like especially with the language, we spoke about that, food habits, and getting along with other kids in school. How was it like?
Well, getting along with other kids in school was never an issue for me. I'm a very talkative,
Okay.
very open person. I tend to talk to everyone I meet. The schools here do this really nice thing though, where if you're starting the school off halfway through, or like not when everybody else starts school together,
Okay.
they give you something they call a buddy.
Okay.
And the buddy shows you around the school and introduces you to their friends and
Okay.
you know, just gives you a little hand as you're starting off in a new school.
All right.
Which is how I made my friends in high school that I stuck through the entire time I was in high school.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
I
Yeah.
love that schools do that.
Yeah,
It's great.
I remember doing that buddy thing when in my first job, contact center back in India. So when you first join, they'll say, this is your buddy. So they will train you, they will shadow you,
Yeah,
and they'll give
exactly.
you some tips and tricks. Looks like they've stole the concept from the schools here.
Yeah,
Right.
similar.
So back in my days in India, bunking classes at school was a big deal. Like
Yes.
we used to do things like mass bunking, where all of us on one day decide we are not going to school, and we just bunked school, and then the next day the principal will call us over, give us a bit of a download. If required, they'll call our parents and do stuff like that. But do you do anything like that over here?
Nothing fun like that,
Okay.
especially not in your junior years.
Okay.
You do get to have a lot of fun when you get to year 12.
Okay.
You have this thing called muck-up day, where
Mm-hmm.
you essentially dress up like absolutely stupid characters and you make an entire muck-up of the school.
Okay.
You play all kinds of pranks. My grade, we had a fake wedding and the entire school was invited. I was in a big red inflatable costume and I was the security guard, the head of security actually.
Wow.
Then during class times, we have a block. It's called E block and it's just one long hallway, and we oiled the floors so when everybody else came out of class, they slipped.
Oh, Jesus.
We saran wrapped our principal's door so she couldn't get out of her door when she wanted to. So we've done all sorts of crazy things like that, but
Okay.
nothing like mass bunking.
Yeah. Do they take it easy if you do stuff like this, or
well,
they take it seriously?
They'll take it seriously if it's not muck-up day.
Oh,
Muck-up
okay.
day is the whole reason.
Oh, all right. So they know that you're going to do stuff
Yes.
like this on this day. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so
all
it's
right.
like a dedicated day to make fun of your
Make
school.
fun of your school. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's cool. Yeah, maybe schools in India should try something like this. And also, coming to sports, Chivika, well, we grew up literally watching only one game. That was cricket. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but over here, I think you have exposure to various kinds of sports. What do you like? What do you don't like?
Well, cricket, believe it or not, is also very common in Australia.
Yeah.
Australian cricket team, great cricketers.
They won the World Cup, by the way,
They did win the
defeating
World
India. Yeah.
Exactly. So cricket is big in Australia too, but other than that, there's two kinds of sports that are very big in Australia. There's footy, which depending on the state you are, can either be the Australian Football League
Okay.
or the Rugby League.
Okay.
And the other sport that's really big is any kind of water sports, of course. 'cause
Yeah.
We are an island.
Exactly.
Surfing, swimming, pick any best swimmer and they're probably out of Australia. So
yeah.
yeah, two big sports here.
Talking about footy, in UK, footy is soccer, or
Yes.
what they call it.
Do not get
Yeah.
confused between
So-
soccer and football.
Yeah. So soccer is not so big here, right? But I think they're still
Yeah,
catching
it's
up.
it's starting to get there. Like the Matildas are really famous,
Mm.
the women's soccer team.
Yeah.
But yeah, soccer's starting to make a little debut in the Australian pop culture, but it's mostly footy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what kind of opportunities you have at school to play any sports of your choice?
My school offered, honestly, sports I have never even heard of.
Okay.
We like most schools would offer cricket, soccer, rugby,
Mm-hmm.
netball, swimming. So most schools would have school teams.
Okay.
Outside of that, you always have your area teams.
Okay.
So considering we live in like the Western Sydney, you'd have a Western Sydney area for
Yeah.
sports.
Okay.
And you can join their club and play for them. There's not one person I've met while I've been in Australia that does not play a sport.
Yeah.
Sport is massive here.
Of
Yeah.
course. I also, when I talk to other kids, they mention a chance to select music as one of the subjects.
Yes, big deal here. Music is mandatory in year 7 and 8, and then in year 9 onwards you can choose to do music.
Okay.
They'll teach you all kinds of things. Acoustic guitar is the one that most high schools would start off with.
Okay.
Then they'll always teach you the piano and sometimes the drums if they want. Yeah.
So lots of choices for kids,
Yes.
actually. Yeah.
Schools teach, I feel like schools here would teach not just theoretical but also life skills. Like most high schools actually, cooking, wood tech, electrical, textiles,
okay.
sewing. Every school teaches you not only things that you need to study, but also things you'll need in your life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's important. We learn all these at home back in India.
Yes.
So in school, it's all about
Yeah.
studies, right? Any special funny experience that you've had with your friends in school or in uni?
In uni, we
Yeah.
have a lot of fun. I don't live at home, as you know.
Yeah.
I live in the dorms, which is 4 hours away from Sydney. It's really fun there. They're not as strict as I've heard Indian hostels are.
Okay.
One of my brothers goes to IIT, and apparently it is very strict over there in his
Yes.
hostel.
Yeah.
Biggest thing, we don't have male-female hostels, it's mixed.
Okay.
So we have a mixed gender dorm. We have heaps of fun, parties every weekend. We play mini golf in the hallways.
Okay.
There was a time when the dryer broke down in my dorm, and we had a guy who grabbed a massive line, like
Okay.
a camping cord,
Okay.
and he tied all of our clothes to it and ran up and down the hallway to dry them because the dryer broke.
Jesus Christ. Well, lots of ideas that you're giving away to kids in India, yeah, to impress girls, right? Right. Well, before we talk about uni, I think HSC is a big deal here,
Yes.
right? Tell us a bit about what does HSC stand for. And
So HSC is just your high school certificate. So that's a certificate that tells you that you graduated high school.
okay.
HSC, you can compare it to kind of the 12th grade board exams that happen in India.
Yep.
You need good marks to get into a good university. The only difference is that for some universities in India, I believe you have to do an entrance test
Yes,
for some of them.
that's right.
That is not a requirement for anything but medical.
Okay.
So unless you're doing Doctor of Medicine to become a doctor, there's no entrance test as long as you get an ATAR, which is the mark that you will get after you finished your HSC exams or your 12th board exams.
Okay.
Well, other than that, like it's the same test that is, given to students all around New South Wales.
Okay.
And they'll rank you based off your test results. So you get a massive ranking from the lowest scoring person to the highest scoring person.
Okay.
And everybody gets fit like in a bell curve.
Okay.
So your HSC mark isn't actually a percentage, it's a percentile.
Yeah, that's
So
important,
it's
I
a
guess.
big thing.
Yeah.
You might be smart, but if you're if everybody else is smart around you, you're not going to end up with a good mark. You need to be
Yeah.
smarter than everyone else.
Yeah, and this is one thing which comes up in my conversations with other parents here. They say that schooling here is fun for kids up until they get to that stage where they have to
Yes.
give HSC, and those 2 years will be really stressful.
Oh.
And kids go for tuitions. I'm sure you would have gone for tuitions as well, and it gets really intense during that time, isn't
Yeah,
it?
year 11 and 12 are like the most stressful parts of my 19 years of living. But yeah, it is stressful, but it's good to know that once you are out of that 2-year period, that's it. Like uni is a lot easier than high school, surprisingly enough.
Okay.
Uni
All right.
is surprisingly chill compared to high school. You would think it's harder, but it's not.
Okay.
But yeah, to prepare for HSC, most people would go tutoring, places like Matrix, which is where I went.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have classes, 3-hour classes, once a week, heaps of homework. But after that stress, when you finish high school and you get into uni, it's great.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
So tutoring is a big deal, guys, for
Yes.
our viewers in India. Unlike what we do in India, people just give home tuitions. The lecturers working or teachers working in the school, after school, they give home tuitions. I've attended several like that. So it's not so intense, but for kids in India, It is stressful, I think, right from day one when they start going to school. Now it's changing a little bit, where all schools are trying to introduce more sports and other activities. But back in my days, it was full on.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah.
Happy I wasn't a part of it.
Okay, we're gonna take a pause here. I'm sure you found this video very interesting, and you have learned a lot of new things. There are many more interesting facts that Jivika has shared with us. We're gonna save them up for our next part in NRI Talks specials. Before you go away, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to get notified, click on that bell icon. As soon as the second part is ready, you will receive a notification. Until then,